This is about managing the emotions you create in yourself by the judgments that you might give. So I've put here, be less quick to judge what things mean or how others behave. And that's not just about what events mean, not just about how other people behave, but I suppose also judging yourself. But so actually a lot of people could have judged early on, this pandemic is going to be the worst thing that's ever happened. And for some people, it's been pretty rubbish. But for other people, it's been the best thing that's ever happened to them, because it's brought them new insights into how they want to live. It's shown them that they can deal with certain things they never thought they could deal with. They've realized it. So actually, there's something about how do you actually be curious rather than judgmental about events. Actually, I wonder how this is going to happen. So I wonder, I guess we it's hard to put this about, and I don't mean this to sound cold, because it isn't what I mean, but it's sort of like, how do you help people reframe their worries they're having? So if I'm worried about e-commerce and retail, what does this mean? Or then I'm worried about being made redundant. That is a possibility, I suppose. That's a possibility, but at the moment we don't know that is what's going to happen. You're judging straight away. You've already judged that this is what's going to happen, and we don't know. So it's almost, how do you approach that with curiosity?
It's almost finding the mind talk and then being able to label, is it truth, or is it something you've made up?
Or is it something in the future that you're predicting that you just don't know yet? And there might be an element of being sensible, going, there's a possibility this could happen, so what am I in control of right now? Well, maybe I need to relook at my CV, maybe I need to look at what it goes back to that accepting, I suppose, accepting this is happening, because a lot of the time the worry perpetuates itself because we don't want to accept that might happen. Of course you don't want to be made redundant. Who does want to be made redundant? Of course you don't want that. But
if you have that plan B in place, because you've recognized there's a potential risk, and you faced into it as like, this is what could happen, this is the likelihood of it happening and what I could do about it, suddenly you're being more logical about it rather than just reacting on those the uncertain emotions.
And it's not easy, and I'm not saying it is, but I think there isn't just one way of dealing with it. There is a route out, I suppose. And I suppose the judgment thing was really the thing with judgment, particularly around other people's behavior. If we move away from events or our own fears, we move on to people's behavior and how they act around you, particularly in a pandemic, particularly when everything is changing. You think about all the stuff when people were hoarding things or bulk buying stuff and stockpiling, and the judgment that was going out about people who were behaving in one way, but the government told we should behave this. There was so much judgment going on about people's behavior. And the problem with judgment is it creates emotions. So you then get angry, or you feel guilty, or you feel ashamed, or especially if you're judging yourself, or if you're judging other people's problems are worse than yours, or yours are worse than theirs. You're bringing about all these emotions, and the only person who's suffering really is you. So and also sometimes your judgment might not be right. I remember hearing lots of people, as I said, if you go all the way back to what we said at the beginning, one person's experience in this whole thing has been the same. So if you hold that, and then I know I heard people talking about, I saw this person and they put 5 to 10 massive bags of toilet roll in their shopping. What a COVID-idiot, or what are words that are harder and harsher than that. But later found out that person was actually shopping for, I don't remember the numbers, but it was like 5 elderly people who were self-isolating. So straight away you've put a judgment on someone. You didn't have enough information about them to judge them. You may have said something really angrily to that person because you got angry because you made a judgment, and it was totally wrong. Whether you're right or wrong, it doesn't, to some extent, it doesn't matter. It's the impact it has on you emotionally. Before you judge, I'd kind of say, do I have enough information about this person or this event to make this judgment? Do I have enough information? Is there another reason why they might be behaving this way other than the one I've decided? And that, I mean, as human beings, we do judge because it's an energy. this is interesting actually, it's just sparked a thought. It's an energy efficient way of behaving. We make judgments to classify things, to generalize things, to reduce the amount of energy it takes to process stuff in our brains. So actually we might more naturally go to judgment when we're knackered, when we're stressed, when we're emotionally hijacked.
We rely on our sort of prehistoric self to save energy and make life easier. Interesting.
About being more aware of that judgment is going to come more, and on ourselves, because we will judge us. This is why about lower expectations, because we judge ourselves. Surely you should be better than this, Steph. You did this way better yesterday, and what's going on? Why you so inconsistent? Yesterday you were fine. And actually the thing is because things are changing and moving around. You might be on fire one day, and you might be completely, tucked up into your duvet, not wanting to face the world the next. They're two extremes, but it's that lower expectations to lower the ability to judge. Right.
So what's the mantra?
The last few don't. Oh, the mantra. Oh, so be curious rather than judgmental. So curiosity over judgment. And often even in how you ask the questions. I said this to a friend recently. She's like, "Oh, that's brilliant," which I thought was quite good. She was saying, she was saying to herself, "Why did you let this happen? How could you let this happen?" And real judgment. And I said to her, "How about you ask that question, but with a curious tone? What would the answer be?" And actually, so it's almost a tone, okay, so how did this happen? How did this happen? What happened? What happened to make this, and then you go, oh yeah, I think it's because this, and you're a bit more rational. So it's like, even the tone you're speaking to yourself in, how can you change that from judgment to curiosity?
It's incredible, all these different hacks, isn't it, in your head?
Mindset hacks.
Yeah.
But that's linked very much to, if anyone's into mindfulness or meditation, they talk about cultivating curiosity over judgment, because it enables you to be calmer and speak to it's not just about switching off from the world or not standing up for what you believe in or not holding people accountable or responsible, but it's about finding different ways to manage the emotions that might be hijacking you when you need to be honest and focused.